Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the intermediate drill run. We're going to do everything: shoulders, arms, core and legs, but we're starting with a warm-up. In all fours, the bird dogs. Lift your right arm and the left leg, crunch it all together in the middle, lift and extend, and then change sides. Left arm, right leg, lift, crunch, pulling the navel in, extend it all out, and then put everything back together. Inhale, opening, exhale, crunching, inhale, opening, back up. Now when you extend leg and arm, don't go too much higher than your hip, as to not to overarch in the lower back. The more healthy your back, the higher you can go. The more you need to be careful, the lower you're staying. And since this is just a warm-up, it's all fine. Here we go. Next one, opposite, all fours in crab position. Fingers pointing out, that's the best position I found for this move. So fingers are pointing outside, and then lift the arm up and over, swing it as if you would want to do a little bit of a back bend here. This is working your glutes and your back. We're extending into this little back bend. Now for the head, if that is not making you dizzy, try to follow the upper hand with your gaze. So the head gets a little bit of a direction and gets included in the movement. Try to make it nice and fluid and observe how those hips are going up in the reach and down when you change. So we're basically also doing a hip lift here. Very good. Shoulder taps, pretty easy. So the shoulder tapping is not really the challenge here. We're starting in the plank position, then just lifting one hip, tapping the opposite shoulder, and that's it already. Putting the hand back down. The challenge is to stay centered with your hips. So the hips stay parallel to the ground, navel is pulling in, and we're trying not to balance left and right with our hips. That is the real challenge. You can start with the feet further apart. It gets easier. And if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, close those feet very close together, as if you were on one little line with your feet. Very good. Always stay in a neutral position with your spine, shoulders away from your ears. Very nice. Warming up those legs. We're doing the intermediate version, as this is an intermediate run. And we're going into our squats and then lifting onto the balls of our feet. Just a little bit higher than the regular squat to include the calf muscles and prepare for what we call jumping. I've heard there's quite some jumping happening here. So we're pushing the hips down and back and then lifting into full extension, pressing the hips forward into one line with the knees and the shoulders. You don't need to go forward of your shoulders with your hips, that would be overextending. So just a simple extension here. Arms go forward when you squat, pull back when you lift. Forward when you squat, pull back when you lift. And this is working the rear part of your upper body, the rear part of your upper back. Wonderful. Getting your heart rate up a little bit with the feet fire. Perfect music for it. So we're doing little tippy steps, lifting those knees, having a little bit of air time here, working those arms quickly and those feet quickly. Great choice of music. Okay, so the movement is not as high if you're familiar with the knee highs. It's the middle of it. So just the intermediate version, but I want to do a little bit of speed here, so that we engage the core and that we get this heart rate up. So run, 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 run. Knees up, soft on your feet, picking those feet up slightly and being really quick on the ground with your feet. Great, that was fun. Oh my God, the chop rotation. Challenge for the coordination of your feet. So I want you to focus on those feet first. The back foot is always on the ball and the front foot is always plain on the whole foot. Then you're first switching the legs and then the upper body follows. Very nice. So legs, upper body, legs, upper body, legs, upper body, leg, leg, upper body, leg, leg, shoulder, leg, leg, shoulder. It's like a little bit of a leg there, as if the legs are dragging the shoulder behind. The hip is dragging the shoulder girdle, so we get this nice twist in the core, rotating the spine and engaging the oblique, the diagonal muscles here in our core, in our center. Release those shoulders a little bit if they get too tight. It's not a shoulder workout. Relax those shoulders because we're going to do some plank jacks. Starting in plank position, hip, shoulder height, and then jump out and in, out and in, out and in. Focus on your hands and your shoulders. I would like those shoulders to be above your wrists, planting the ball of your index finger into the ground, and now release the tension in the front of your chest. Open the chest as to make your collarbones smile, letting the shoulder girdle slide over the rib cage and down towards the spine. Now the jumping is just to distract you from contracting your core, but don't let that happen. Keep contracting your core, pick those hips up, keep those legs as straight as possible, but if you need to cheat, bend the knees a bit more. But no time for cheating. We don't have time for this. Lateral lunges while grabbing the floor, stepping out to the side. Inner hand is grabbing the floor. Inner hand, that's easier. Inner hand grabbing the floor, outer foot stepping out into a wide lateral lunge. Now the whole weight is on the outer leg and the inner leg is completely straight. It's like a pole. So kind of pole shifting over the pole and we're coming back. It's kind of fun. So important to keep the inner leg straight at all times. Keep the inner leg straight at all times. Make sure of that. Otherwise, it's just a very wide squat that feels super weird. All right, bend forward, extend, forward, extend the upper body. You're doing fantastic. Have a trip around the world in plank position, changing here between the plank poses and the standing poses to release your shoulders. Now, lift. Let's start with the left arm here, left arm, then the right arm, and then the left leg and the right leg. It's not that important how high you can get. And then on the second run, start with the right arm, and then the left arm, and then the right leg, and then the left leg. Most important is that you stay centered in your core and not shifting too far left and right. The two hip points should have the same distance to the floor at all times, not shifting left or right. Imagine you having a glass of water on your lower back and you do want to drink that water later because there's going to be some cardio coming up. Right now, a little bit of feet fire here again. Picking those knees up, being really quick on the ground, really soft, and rebouncing. Try to feel this rebound. Don't touch the heel on the ground, stay on the ball of your feet and just pick those knees up again. Arms are helping, so the work is also done by the arms here. Bend those arms and up. Try to run with the same speed with the arms as you're doing with the legs. You need to contract your core, otherwise this is not gonna happen and your upper body is just gonna go wherever it wants to go. Contracting the core helps you to stay centered and to actually be able to move those arms contralaterally to your legs. Have a bit more of a speed. Speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up, speed up. Quicker. You did it. Come back into plank. Little knee out rotation adventure. We are trying to get the knee to the opposite elbow while we're bending and rotating. So this looks worse than it is. Just try, give it a try. Now focus on the straight leg that is folding onto the inside, on the inner arch. This is the easiest way to do it. So fold on the inner arch, drop the heel of the straight leg, drop the heel. That way you have most stability, the most stability. Bending the arms a little bit, when you're twisting, when you're rotating. And imagine the floor is really, really hot, so you don't want to touch the ground with the knee, or your legs would get even hotter. Very nice. Stay focused. One more. Wonderful. You did it. Another round of squats, lifting on the toes. If you want to go further, you can add the jump, but you can also stay with the intermediate version and just lifting on the balls of your feet. If you want to add the jump though, go as low as knee height with your hips, and then jump up using the arms. So you're inversing the arm movement. When you're jumping, you're raising the arms, and when you're bending the hips, you're pulling the arms back. So quite the opposite. Just do what feels natural. If you want to add the jump, or you just keep the arms as they are, it looks cool anyhow, whatever you do. So we're working the quadriceps, the calves, and the glute muscles here. And if you're jumping, we're adding a bit more of cardio. Here we go back into our plank. Plank walking means we're starting in Sphinx position and then coming up into plank position. One arm after the other, up, up, and then down, down. Find a solution so you're changing right and left side. You can either change when you're in plank position or change to the other side when you're in Sphinx. But don't just do one way, do the other way as well, in your own solution. I change when I'm up in the plank, and then just keep walking down into Sphinx, elbows parallel, elbows pretty narrow underneath the shoulder, forearms are parallel with the palms firmly on the ground. Make sure to pull your navel in, don't sag in the hips, release those shoulders back to the spine. Wonderful. And I know you can do this because we're alternating left and right. Try the kick through hip hop move. You're twisting basically your whole body around onto the left arm and the right foot, and the other legs and arms, which are free, are touching each other. So diagonally stay on the ground, diagonally touch. Better just watch, difficult to explain. Now, watch the foot. When you're twisting, you're actually turning the whole foot around onto the sole of the foot. Whole foot turns around onto the sole of the foot. This makes it so much more easier because you're more stable. And this time, the leg that stays on the ground stays bent, the knees bend. Otherwise, it gets way too hard. You're doing great. Lovely. All right, now since we're warmed up, we can do a kneeling to squat. So we're going onto a cushioned floor or mat. If you don't have one, pause the video quickly. And now here we go. Kneel down, then momentum with the arms, swing up and then jump up. Swing up, jump. Again, swing up, jump. Very good. If this is too much for you, there's a beginner's version where you simply step one foot and then the other. If you're getting tired, better do the beginner's version with just stepping, because this version needs a lot of momentum. You need to engage the arms and you need to dare. It's basically daring to jump, and you can do it. I'm pretty sure of it. Go slow, but try to do it. You can't really hurt yourself if you have a cushioned mat. Just try not to stick to the ground. Wonderful. Here we go. A little bit of a T-stand. I call this the hybrid because one knee is straight and one knee is bent. This is the intermediate version on the right side, right hand on the floor, right knee on the floor, and the left leg extended onto the side. With the hand on the hip is pretty advanced because we're having more weight on the hip. If you want to, you can do the bit nicer version with lifting the arm overhead so your arm, your bicep is caressing your ear. And if this whole hybrid thing is nothing for you, you can of course do the beginner's version with both knees on the ground, or the advanced one with both feet straight, one on top of the other. Great. This is working our lateral core, hip stability. Hip stability is really, really important. We're doing way too little on the side, but here we go. Other side, left hand on the ground, left knee, Left knee bent, right knee extended. Now do the same variation with the hand as you were doing on the other side. So either hand on the hip for a little bit more weight on your hip, or extending the arm overhead, caressing your ear with your biceps. It's a bit more dancey, ballet. And if this is all too easy for you, extend both legs, put one foot over the other, and you're adding a little bit of a balance challenge right here in that T stance. Keep breathing because we're not done yet. That was just a nice little hip stabilizer, just like an appetizer. Here we go with the frog jumps. Intermediate version. We're starting in standing, bending forward, fold. Step back into plank, jump forward, jump backward, climb back forward, and up. Up. Very good. So we're getting into standing every time we're coming back forward with the feet. Now, if you're struggling with where do I jump, you're stepping backwards, jump forward, jump backwards, stepping back forward. So you're jumping forward from the plank and back into the plank. It's like doing a burpee all over again, since you don't want to get up too quickly, if there's a reason for that. Remember to let the head hang when you're jumping forward into the forward fold, so your neck can relax a little bit and you're not overextending, and that would contract too much your neck muscles. Great. 2 more to go. Jump outs. Come on, this is like a jumping jack, and you can do the arms however you like. I do these locomotion movements here because they're great for arm coordination, but you can also do the full jump and jack if you want to do a little bit more shoulder work or shoulder mobilization. Now for the feet, keep those knees slightly bent so you don't land on the floor in like an overextension of your knees. You do want to be soft in your knees, soft in your ankles. The heels don't touch the ground, and be careful, the knees are always pointing towards the toes, never coming into the middle. Very good. Swing those arms, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Wonderful. Last one up. It's just a bonus. We're doing a little bit of hip hop here at the kickbacks. This is the intermediate version where we're having a little bit of a pause and accent at the end of the move. So we're kicking up, kicking up, kicking up, and you can have a little bit of a swing here right in the middle when your hips are low. So hips go low, leg comes up, hips go low, leg comes up. And in the middle, when you're switching legs and both feet are in the air at some point, you're picking these hips up. So the hips go up and down, hips go up and down, hips go up and down. Very nice extension here in the hips. Elbows slightly bent so that the shoulders stay open, and the legs is kicking straight up. Foot is flexed. That looks really good. Wonderful. And there you go, you made it. We're having a little bit of a stretch. This intermediate workout was great to challenge your arms. We did shoulder work, we did core work, and we did a lot of legs here. A lot of jumping for the connective tissue. So grab your hands behind the back, lift those arms up, bend the elbows a little bit, then lift the shoulders, smile with your collarbones, and lift the eyes to the horizon, lift your gaze, put a crown on the top of your head, and now plant the heels into the ground, standing really tall and proud. You did it. Nice intermediate drill here. And if you feel like this was a bit of a challenge, you can always go back to the beginner's version or to the videos from 1 to 10. Release, do the triceps. Or if this was too easy for you, there's some advanced stuff coming up. So grab your right elbow, put the hand between your shoulder blades, just pull slightly as to feel a little bit of a stretch in your triceps. Try not to pull the arm too far forward. You want to stay with the elbow above your shoulders so the chest can stay open and you're not collapsing like in the front. You don't want to have your chin sitting on your chest. You want to have your chin up, the eye gazing to the horizon. Lift everything up and don't pull too much. This is a great stretch also for the latissimus, a little bit of the back muscle. Then change the arms. So put the left hand between your shoulder blades, grab the left elbow with your right hand, and you can also just fix your elbow with that hand. You don't need to pull that much. Usually just putting the hand between your shoulder blades is already enough, and you have this little stretchy sensation in the back of your arm. Now lift the chest, lift the eyes, don't let the head hang. Chin up, planting your heels into the ground, standing really nice and tall and open. And try to calm your breath. Breathe more evenly in and out. Get all that oxygen in, all the used air out. And then release the arms. Right arm comes across in the front. Left hand fixes the arm in position. Now when you're crossing over, you want to pull the right shoulder down and away from the ear. That shoulder tends to come forward because we're pulling it forward. Now I want you to create a bit of resistance, pulling the shoulder back and down while the left hand is trying to push the arm to the front or pull the arm closer to you. So your shoulder blade and your left hand are doing two opposite things. Shoulder blade is pulling the arm back and down, and the left hand is trying to do the opposite. But we're not letting it do it. Great. Release open. You can swing the arms open and then cross over. The left arm comes across, chest height, and then fix it with the right hand. Pull your arm slightly towards your chest. And again, you want to bring the shoulder down and back, even though your right arm is pulling it to the front. But most important is that the shoulder doesn't come forward. Now keep breathing. You did a great workout. So just enjoy these last few moments of stretching, well-deserved relaxation after kind of a heavy workout that you were giving to yourself. And let's have a side stretch, just to stretch the sides out. We're starting with the right hand, leaning over to the left, grabbing the right hand with the left hand. And as you can see, I like looking onto the floor, just to include the head into the movement. But you can also turn the head slightly from side to side, whatever feels good. Maybe you have a spot that needs a little bit of stretching, maybe more in the back or more in the side. But stay long, head in line with the spine. And exhale, bending a little bit further, but still staying with the shoulders above your hips. And then slowly release, change hands. Grab your left hand with your right hand and bend over to the right. Here we go, stretching the whole left side. Again, you can look to the floor with your gaze, or finding that spot on the left side of your neck that needs a little bit of stretching. Don't we all need a little bit of neck relaxation? Now exhale slowly, go a little bit deeper into the stretch, bending over, leaning over. You can let the air out, take the oxygen back in. And that was a great one. I hope you enjoyed. this intermediate drill workout. There's plenty more in my playlist if you want more of a challenge or less of a challenge. It's all right there at the end of your fingertips. And I'll hope to see you soon. Bye!